You haven't missed a deadline in 2 years. You respond to messages fast. You still make it to meetings. You still deliver. And every single morning, you wake up and have to talk yourself out of not going in. You're not burned out by the definition you have in your head because you haven't quit. You haven't broken down in the office bathroom. You haven't visibly fallen apart. So you keep telling yourself you're fine. You're not fine. What you have is high-functioning burnout. And it may actually be more dangerous than the kind people can see because you don't get to stop. High-functioning burnout sits at the intersection of two things: a nervous system in genuine crisis and a personality structure that is extremely good at overriding distress signals. This is almost always people who were praised from a young age for performance, who learned that their value is tied to their productivity, who feel guilty resting, who are better at taking care of other people's needs than their own. The profile: perfectionist, high achiever, strong sense of responsibility, terrible at saying no, significant fear of failure or disappointment. The paradox: these are the very traits that drive success, and they are the same traits that make burnout invisible until it's severe. Signs specifically of high-functioning burnout: you perform well professionally, but feel nothing at the end of the day. You are increasingly irritable, cynical, or emotionally unavailable at home, saving your performance energy for work. Sunday anxiety is severe, a dread of Monday that starts Friday evening. You have become efficient but not engaged. You do everything right and care about nothing. You intellectually know your life is fine but can't feel it. Emotional numbness. Physical symptoms: headaches, gut issues, repeated illness, tension that won't release. To understand why some people develop high-functioning burnout specifically, as opposed to the burnout that leads to visible collapse, you need to understand the psychology underneath. Most high-functioning burnout sufferers have what psychologists call conditional self-worth. Deep inside is a belief, usually formed in childhood, that their value as a person is contingent on their performance. That if they stop producing, stop achieving, stop being useful, something terrible will happen. They will be abandoned, rejected, found out. This belief is so deeply embedded that even when the body is screaming for rest, the psychological threat of stopping feels more dangerous than the physical cost of continuing. This is also called perfectionism as armor, using relentless performance as a defense against the deeper fear of inadequacy. The problem: this means the alarm bells that would normally stop a person don't work. The wiring that says, "This is too much, slow down," has been overridden so many times that it barely registers. Regular burnout, the visible kind, tends to force a stop. The person breaks down, quits, has a health crisis, something intervenes. High-functioning burnout can run for years, decades, without a single external event that forces a reckoning. What happens instead is slower and more insidious. The emotional attrition. Slow erosion of the things that made you you. Hobbies disappear. Friendships thin out. Creativity dries up. You become a smaller and smaller version of yourself, and you don't notice because it's gradual. The identity merger. Work is no longer something you do. It's who you are. When you eventually do stop, retirement, layoff, health event, the identity collapse can be catastrophic. The relationship cost. Your emotional reserves are so depleted by work performance that the people who get the real you are getting the residue, the leftover irritability, numbness, and disengagement, the delayed health crash. The research on chronic stress is unambiguous. Long-term suppression of the stress response eventually breaks through in physical illness, autoimmune conditions, cardiovascular problems, chronic pain. The body always sends the bill. If this is you, the first thing I want to say is, you are not weak for being here. You are very, very strong. And you have been strong for too long, without enough support. The starting point for high-functioning burnout recovery is different from regular burnout because the block is internal as much as external. You have to start by giving yourself permission, not to quit, not necessarily to make dramatic changes yet. Just permission to acknowledge that what you've been doing isn't sustainable, that you deserve more than survival mode. The practical first steps: identify one thing per day that is genuinely restorative, not productive, not improving, not optimizing, just genuinely restorative. And do it without guilt. Start to separate your worth from your output. This is internal work, often best done with a therapist, but you can begin by noticing when you conflate the two. I was productive today, therefore I am okay, is a sentence worth examining. Talk to someone, not to fix it yet, just to say it out loud. I am not okay. The isolation of high-functioning burnout is one of its most toxic features. Next video, Gen Z burnout. Because younger workers are burning out faster than any generation before them, hitting peak burnout at 25. And the psychological reasons why are not what most people assume. It's not laziness or entitlement. The research is pointing somewhere far more disturbing. If this video described you, please share it with someone else it might describe. High-functioning burnout thrives in silence. Bring it into the light.